What is up YouTube? Today we have another 7 Nights Rebirth video, and I'm just going to be showing you guys my auto Iron Devourer, otherwise known as Hydra team that I've been using to farm this really good Avenger gear for just my DPS, especially for raid, right? Avenger gear is going to be super strong. This is going to be run on pretty much every single raid DPS for Hydra itself, Ox King, and Destroyer Gaze. If you want to actually progress very deep into raid, you will need to farm Avenger gear eventually. I don't really farm Iron Devourer anymore, but I'll show you guys the team that I used in the past to actually get my Avenger gear. Currently, I am auto farming Ox King at like 100% win rate. I'll show you guys my team in a separate video, but for today, we're going to be talking about Hydra. So, like I said, this is going to be one of the most important pit stops that will pretty much make a lot of your gear farming easier because of this set. You just run it on pretty much Shane, Pascal, Jupi Snipper, Yuri, also Espada if you're using it right. All will be very good on this, and even Tio can be very good on this as well in a lot of stages. Now the other two sets are pretty good as well. Spellweaver effect hit rate is going to be good for CCers and PvP. And then F-Res is going to be good on some tanks for PvP as well. But mostly you're here for Avenger because this is what matters the most in the early to mid game, especially for PvE content. So basically, I did make a guide on this, so I'll just talk about it very briefly. You want to bring Victoria, you want to bring Lucy, you want to bring either Yuri or Pascal, whichever one is available to you. Pascal is going to be a lot better because he's way tankier. And on top of that, you're also going to want to bring Lena. Now, the thing with Lena's spot is you don't need to bring Lena if you don't have her at T2. The main reason why you're bringing her is because of her T2 ability. If I can actually find her. Oh, right, she's up here. But basically, you're not going to really care about her other skills too much. The healing is very, very good, but if you get her to T2, your team gets passive crit damage boost. So if you don't have her at T2, you can bring like Evan or anything else that makes your team tanky. She's not really required. Now, for the last slot, I run Biscuit. In my last video that actually talks about, Hydra as just like a beginner guide and how to make your first team, I recommend not using Biscuit, and the reason why is because I'll talk about in a second. You just need some weird builds on your DPS for the most part. But instead of Biscuit, what you can actually use, and what I actually used in level 10 as well until I pulled Biscuit, is Asura. Asura works as well. You just need to make sure she's at 30% weakness hit chance from her gear. And then as long as she's at 30%, she'll get 70% from her passive. And then what you do is you queue or you prioritize your Spirit Blade first so that she always keeps this focus target on the boss. That'll make it so that your team will hit the main head. So Asura is very, very good. If you have Biscuit, she's also very good, but you might not actually want to use her in the case that, you don't actually have the gear to make it work. And what I mean by that is if you're using Biscuit, your Pascal needs to reach 100% weakness hit chance. So Biscuit is going to give, with it upgraded with a skill enhance, 54%. So I just need 46%, and you can see my Pascal is almost at 46%. So 3% of the time he's not going to hit the boss, but we take those, I guess. We're just gonna deal with it. But the reason why is because the weakness hit percent, it's going to make it so that when you land this weakness hit, it calculates it before your damage lands. And if it actually lands, like the weakness hit happens, you'll hit the character on the enemy team with the lowest HP ratio. And the Hydra, you're gonna see the main boss will start with like 90% health. So you want to actually make sure Pascal's at 100% when you're using Biscuit, because he won't have that focus target from Asura, and because of this, you need to make sure you're at 100% weakness hit chance, right? So because Biscuit gives you enough, she's going to make it so that you just need a couple substats or some like one main stat piece and you should be good to go. Now, in terms of your gear, so for 10, this boss does a lot of damage, so I actually couldn't do this until I unlocked more gear slots on my characters, but your DPS you definitely want on just full damage. You really, really want Avenger set for this boss if you can. You can use Assassin set from Ox King if you want, but Avenger set just makes it quicker and a lot more easier. For your other characters, you're just basically stacking defensive stats. Block rate is going to be the best by far just because it's so OP in this game. So if you find that your characters are dying, the character I find dying the most is actually Victoria. Just stack a ton of block rate on her, and you're going to find that she pretty much will never die after that. But you can see my gear, even though my gear looks crazy because I have it on all unlocked, some of my gear isn't even upgraded because I don't need to, and because like it's so expensive to upgrade this in terms of gold. I'm not really going to upgrade too many pieces right now. But you can see my Pascal's on 1 weakness hit chance piece. He's on a crit rate piece, and then he's on attack percent. The reason why I'm only at 50% crit rate is because his, what's it called? Titan of Calamities, his like damage dealing ability gives you 50% additional crit rate on it. So you don't really care about, you know, going above 50%. If you do have him at T6, this becomes 100% crit rate. You could just go full damage, and this makes him by far the most broken damage dealer for single target in the game in terms of just DPS. But because I don't have T6, because I'm not that much of a whale, I'm just kind of a little whale, we will be doing this at T2. And T2 is definitely not required. T2 just reduces the cooldown of his Gate to the Abyss, which just ends up speeding up your runs. But I was doing this at T0 and it worked just fine. I'm also even missing T2 on Biscuit, which is going to give you a lot of damage resistance. Basically, T2 Biscuit for every raid boss is just giga OP because it just gives you 20% damage reduction on everything, which is just so ridiculous in my opinion. But yeah, this is the team though. In terms of how you want to skill prioritize, this is basically the priority you want to do. Now, of course, this isn't skill priority, it's skill queue because I'm background battling something else, so I can't enter the menu. But when you guys are prioritizing in your repeat battle settings, you want to do Biscuit to always go when this is up. Then you want Pascal to use his damage ability, then his reset and damage immunity. And if you are using Asura, you will use Asura's focus target instead of Biscuit's equipment enhancement. Now after that, for like 4, 5, and 6, not really necessary to set it up because your team will just heal you. If you're using like Evan, maybe you want Evan's shield to go like here on 4. Lucy's heal is pretty good. She also has a cooldown reduction. You can also put on priority 4 or even 5. Some people like to do Victoria later on because she'll make your Pascal do more damage if you can have her go before your Pascal. The thing is, if I actually use Victoria's damage boosting abilities, my team ends up dying, so I can't do that. So this is what I have set up. It's like the safest way to do it. And then of course, if you need that priority on certain heals because your Lena's healing way more than your Lucy or something like that, you can have them go 4 or 5 and it will work. So I'll show you guys the run, and you're gonna see that my Pascal is pretty much always gonna go into the boss with this weakness hit percent chance buff. You can see when we're critting, not only is the number red, but it's also gonna be yellow. So you'll see that he's gonna just keep going into the boss. Your other characters aren't gonna really go into the boss because they're not gonna have weakness hit percent and not be buffed by Biscuit. But it doesn't really matter, they're not really here to do damage. But you're gonna see also that, you know, my Pascal is going to get low in this run, but you have to keep in mind this Gate to the Abyss, this 40-second cooldown or 60-second, depending on if you have it enhanced, is going to actually give him all damage nullification for 2 hits. So it just makes him super tanky. I did not mean to open my menu, I apologize. But you're gonna see that, you know, this boss is just really annoying. I really hate farming this boss. It's my least favorite boss because, yeah, the damage that comes out from the boss is just so random, and sometimes things get focused down. So that's why you really want your like front line to be like on block chance and super tanky, because bad RNG can really screw this run in terms of your team dying. Now, if you find that your DPS isn't hitting the main head, it's just something to do with your weakness hit chance or your focus target, if it's staying on the boss, if you have it prioritized, because your DPS should pretty much always be going into the boss. So you can see my Pascal has just went in over and over. My other characters are doing fuck all and just hitting the side heads for no reason, which is fine. You know, they're not here to do anything like do damage, but it's kind of funny that the boss is designed this way in my opinion. But you're gonna see that we're gonna kill in 4 ultimate abilities. I think if you have a better Pascal or if you have him like higher Transcendence, you can kill in 3. And I've even seen someone kill in 2 on level 10, which is pretty insane in my opinion. But yeah, you're gonna see. Also, I don't want to like complain, but the animations on this boss are so long with like the Hydras hitting as well, like the side heads, that the runs take forever. But anyways, yeah, that's the run. It takes about 2 minutes, which is unfortunate, but not the worst thing in the world. You're not gonna really farm here too much early game, I'd say. Like you'll farm here for a bit, like I said, to get the Avenger gear to put on your DPS. But for me, I just kind of just built out my Espada, and then I kind of just went into Ox King, and now I'm farming 12 there, and I'll probably come back to Iron Devourer when I want to push even further in Ox King. But you can see my Espada is on boss gear. It's very important to have on her. My Shane is not on boss gear yet, so I will have to go back and put her on it. And my Pascal is on boss gear. So pretty much your raid DPS you can put on safely. Even like a Tio is pretty good on it. There's like some boss stages where he actually wants to do more damage to the boss. And even for Castle Rush, a lot of characters will want it as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. This is Hydra 10 or Iron Devourer 10. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys have questions about. And like I said, I'll show you guys my Ox King 12 video later on this week, probably tomorrow or the day after, because the jump from 10 to 11 even is just insanely large. It's like more than, I think it's like 2.5 times the amount of health on 11 than 10 for Ox King at least. So thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.